everyone, welcome to our first summary for the term. Just wanted to provide you with a short summary of our info from last week. We don't have quizzes for a bit in this class. We'll have some toward the end of the term, but we don't have quizzes right now. So just wanted to give you a short summary of some of our info from last week and actually some instructions for this week's work. I put some in the announcement as well. So hopefully you found the work from last week interesting. I particularly enjoy the personality types assignment, Myers-Briggs. Kind of a Myers-Briggs wannabe is what it is. So hopefully you find that interesting. And that can be a really helpful tool for team facilitators, team leaders, to give to a team, they really do. I actually was part of a team. I used to work for a very large Fortune 50 company where we were given. I was asked to be part of a team that was outside of my department, my division, and prior to joining the team, we had to take a Myers-Briggs. So there are companies out there that do that sort of thing. So first, I wanted to touch on some of the reading out of one of the texts. It was the Olden text that was found in the classroom, and it talked a bit about organization. So one of the things that it talked about were different types of organizational formats and the way that the structure. Healthcare organizations tend to be very structured. Generally, there'll be there will be a very set structure. Unless you work for a very small organization, they tend to be a very structured organization. And in that chapter 5 that we read, it talked about organizational formats: a functional form, divisional form, matrix form. So a functional form takes departments and positions and organizes them based on their function. So, those functional forms will, I think of a hospital, and a functional form will organize, emergency department, radiology, OR services, etc. Would divide based on function, whereas a divisional form may divide departments and positions focusing on groups of customers or services. So maybe outpatient services versus inpatient services. So maybe all of OR services would be grouped outpatient and inpatient. If it's OR in the functional form, OR for outpatient and inpatient would be grouped together, whereas division may be separated: outpatient OR over here, inpatient OR over here. So it could vary based on the types of customers or services that are being served in a divisional format. The matrix form is another one, which can combine both. And I think of a matrix form. Actually, I think there's an example here. I'm going to flip back in my book a little bit. See if I can find this. So there's an example here. Yeah, in that matrix form, it's interesting because it combines both, and it actually makes it kind of a confusing format. But I think of service line administrators in a hospital setting where you have a format where there's a person that's in charge of a service line. So they might be, maybe in charge of, say, cardiology. So they're in charge of cardiology, and they're in charge of cardiology over all different types of services in that situation. So they could be over physician. They could be in charge of cardiology in the outpatient setting, in the inpatient setting. So it makes it kind of a matrix. In our textbook, in the PDF section, it's actually on page 85 in that PDF. You can see how it's a matrix and lines going everywhere, and it makes it very confusing. So that's our matrix situation. And there's a few other situations: parallel type organization, a modular type organization, or a virtual network. Um, but probably the functional and divisional forms are the most common that we will see, where organizations are going to be organized by function or by division. So they're either going to be organized by the function that they're doing or by the types of patients that they're seeing. And that's going to be probably our two most common things. And the reason that it's important to understand these structures and functionalities is going to come into play this week when we start talking about kind of organizational politics and conflict. Because one of the reasons that we have created this class, this is actually a new class for us this term, is because there are a lot of organizational politics, and there are a lot of conflicts that occur in the healthcare setting, and a lot of that comes from the really rigid organizational structures that exist in healthcare. So that's one of the reasons that occurs. So if we had a more modular structure, something a little more virtual or amorphous, we may not have as many conflicts, and there may not be as many politics. But because we have this rigid structure, it causes problems at times. Nice job in the discussions. Nice job in the blogs. I have not gotten into grade them yet. It's still Monday morning, so I have not gotten into grade everything yet. I did go in and take a peek. Discussions were really interesting this week. I will say, remember, get your initial post up by Wednesday evening, and then you want to get your other posts in by Sunday, but you do want to post 3 different days during the week. So I encourage everyone to get posting by Friday, but your final posts do need to be in by Sunday. So our discussion this week was really interesting in that, everyone, we were talking about taking that personality test, and how can those personality tests impact the work that someone can do on a team. And kind of the key is that working on a team, it can be, if you are, and I'd mentioned this in my discussions, if you tend to be on the introverted side, and you have someone on the team that is an extreme extrovert, that person can tend to quash that person that is on the introverted side. So it takes someone that is a good leader or facilitator of that team to really, kind of have the person that is the extreme extrovert, ask them to, quiet down their comments for a moment and get that person that is the introvert to share their comments, because everyone's commentary is important and valued, obviously, if they're part of a team. So sometimes that's an important role as a leader on a team, is to manage that conflict. And then also, all of the, sensing, feeling, thinking, judging, all of those kind of conflicts can come into play. But I found often those are just a difference of opinion on things, as opposed to the fact that one person dominating the conversation over another. That tends to be more of a difficulty in the meeting. The others just tend to be a difference of opinion on topics. Or a difference of a way to look at something. Someone may look at something from a more analytical view. Others may look at something, from a more emotional view, etc. So those are just differences of opinion. The issue of having someone that is very quiet and won't speak up versus having someone that is dominant in the meeting, that can be an issue for leaders, and we need to keep that in mind as we're becoming leaders of these meetings, that we may have to deal with that. But also, motivating a team. So sometimes we may have a team that nobody wants to speak, or that everybody wants to speak. So motivating that team to keep them on task and get them moving forward. We had some discussion of that in our readings. And how do we motivate a team? How do we keep them on goal, on task? So some really great information this week in our readings. And then our blog. Like I said, I have not gone through them all, but so our blogs this week, I'll go through and make comments and grade them. But what I did want to do is make sure that for this week, and I'm actually going to click in here and show you. Remember, for this week, we have another blog assignment, and that's what this is here. But we also are going to be going in and commenting on everybody else's blogs. So to get to that, you're going to click on this blog commentary on week 1 assignment, and then I don't have any entries because I haven't done a blog, but over here you should be able to click and you'll see everybody else's blogs here as well. So if you click into one of those blogs, any blog, and so you should be able to bring up other people's blogs, and then you'll be able to comment. So you'll be able to provide a blog. It'll look a little different. You're not grading them, so you won't be able to see that over there, but you'll be able to provide comments. So the screens will look a little different to you, but you will be able to provide commentary down here for everybody. So please go ahead and do that this week. That's part of our assignment for this week as well. So you don't have to comment on everybody's blogs. That's not required. But go in and comment on go out and comment on a blog, and 2 different blogs is our assignment. So comment on 2 different blogs, and by the end of this week, and that will and then you have a new blog assignment of your own for this week as well. So that is also part of our work for the week. So I think that's all we've got. The one thing I did want to warn you about too, I have a little movie trailer for you to watch this week, but I see there's a bit of a kind of a PG love scene in the movie trailer, so it might not want to be something that you watch at work. So I did want to warn everybody of that. But it is a PG movie, so it is a PG love scene, but you might want to not be watching that at work. Okay, so everyone have a fabulous week, and we will be seeing everyone on the discussion boards. Thanks so much.